Hi everyone, this is Jeff Reed, former writer for iFanboy, here to talk to you today about a comic that came out back in 1999, or at least it attempted to come out back in 1999. It was called Letitia Lerner, Superman's Babysitter, and it was published by DC in the pages of Elseworlds 80-page giant #1. Written by Kyle Baker and Elizabeth Glass, it had art by Kyle Baker by himself. And it was in the pages of this 10-page short story that we met Letitia Lerner, who was a local Smallville High student and babysitter for the community. Ma and Pa Kent needed to get out of the house the first time in months, so they asked Letitia to watch over their new super baby without giving her details as to what they could expect during that adventure. Unfortunately, Super Baby got into some mischief, such as picking up a whole cow and drinking milk straight from the source, flying onto the roof, and taking a nap in the street. Now, of course, Super Baby could fly, had super strength, and was invulnerable, and Letitia just had to follow behind and try to calm down any problems after they happened. Some of those problems included Super Baby biting through a cord and getting electrocuted, and ending up into a microwave that was turned on. It was this last sequence that apparently made DC executives freak out a little bit when they noticed it was happening. And even though the book was printed, done, on the pallets, ready to be shipped off to comic stores across America, they grabbed as many copies as they could off those pallets and pulped them. The issue did not come out to US stores. Before that happened, though, some issues were shipped off to the UK, about 700 to 2,000, according to reports. There they sold and were normally given to customers who wanted to pay for them. And they did, because the story is really fun and Looney Tunes and cute. But DC didn't want that image of a baby in a microwave to be out there in an officially published comic. Well, the Eisner Awards didn't care, because the following year, during the Eisner Awards in the summer of 2000, they awarded this short story as Best Short Story at the Eisner Awards. Kyle Baker also got an Eisner Award for Best Writer-Artist for Humor. So it was an Eisner Award-winning story, and DC didn't officially publish it in the US until a year later. In the pages of Bizarro Comics, which is an anthology of independent artists doing short stories with the DC characters, they finally published this story. So even though it won a Eisner Award, it was not on shelves for until a year later. Eventually, this story came into a full reprint of all the stories in this comic, came out in 2012 as a DC Comics Presents release, along with a Paul Pope story was added in to fill it to 100 from 80 pages of the original release. But DC having kids in microwaves apparently wasn't a problem in 2023. If you recall, the movie The Flash had Barry Allen putting a baby in a microwave in that movie. It was to save its life, but a baby in a microwave was fine in 2023 and a problem in 1999.